Hello and welcome along to this CrowdProperty.com funding opportunity. Today we're going to be returning to Hamblin House in Rushden. That's NN100RU. Now, CrowdProperty is a peer-to-peer lending platform designed to facilitate loans between private individuals and professional property businesses. CrowdProperty is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority under permission number 723959. CrowdProperty is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. There are risks with any loans you make, and just like all peer-to-peer lending, your capital is at risk. CrowdProperty endeavours to protect all lenders. This is done by registering the legal first charge against the property project. This means that in the very unlikely event a borrower defaults on the loan, CrowdProperty will be able to take ownership of the project and manage it for the lenders. So let me introduce you to the borrower on this project. It's Chris Smart and Ben Timmins, and they are part of Majestic Properties Northamptonshire Limited, their company number being 11909-305, incorporated in March 2019. It's got two directors, and I'm delighted to say that Ben is able to join us on this webinar. Welcome along, Ben. Start off by telling us a little bit more about you and your business partner, Chris.
I'm carpentry background. I've been a carpenter since I left school and worked my way up, set my own business up. And then we got into renovations as a business, and that's our speciality. And then I met Chris. He was a client of mine back in 2018, and his background is estate agency. He's done his own developments as well by himself, and we thought that we could make a bit of a power team, and we merged forces, and this is what we've got. So Majestic Properties.
Now, you're also the owner and director of KMR Construction. They're going to be the principal contractor on this project, aren't they? Tell us a bit more about that.
So yeah, KMR Construction are like a refurbishment contractor. They work for big main contractors up and down the country, remodeling things, fitting out hospitals, schools, science labs, and anything in between, really. So we've got a kind of quite a diversified skill set as a business.
So let's then look at this project. The project is a development loan facility of £425,000 towards the conversion of the property to become 7 residential units. This is phase 2 of a 2-phase raise, and the loan is for a term of 11 months, paying lenders 8% per annum equivalent, rolled up and repaid at the exit. This second phase is for £195,000. Now, Hamblin House, the project itself, situated in Rushden, population there of around about 29,000 people, and it's in East Northamptonshire district. Rushden itself located on the A6 between Bedford and Kettering, and close to the A45, giving access to the M1 to the west and the A1 to the east. The property situated within the town centre of Rushden Court. It's a private courtyard development. The neighbouring buildings are a mix of retail, offices and residential use. The existing property was originally an agricultural barn. It was extended in the mid-20th century as a garage, and since an extensive refurbishment in the late 1980s, it's been used as an office. And it's been vacant since the late 2018, with the borrowers acquiring the site in 2019 and subsequently getting planning permission for the conversion. The property is 2-storey, predominantly stone and brick walls under a concrete tar roof. And the planning permission was granted by East Northamptonshire District Council. Their planning reference is 19/01437/FUL. That was granted back in September 2019, with permission granted for the change of use of those existing offices to 4 1-bedroom flats, 1 2-bedroom flat, 1 2-storey 1-bed dwelling, and 1 2-storey 2-bed dwelling, providing 7 units in total. The development will total some 4,348 square feet, with the units themselves ranging from 409 through to 1,152 square feet. And the borrower owns the property with an existing bridge facility and has commenced works, including the strip out, structural alterations, partition erection and drainage works. The loan will fund the removal of the existing bridge facility and the conversion works. The project is already first charge secured, and the exit strategy is that the developer will retain and rent the flats with a refinance onto a standard buy-to-let mortgage on completion of the works. Here is a location plan for you. On the left, you can see where Rushden is in relation to Northampton and Wellingborough. On the right-hand side, you can see the site plan layout as to where the property is edged in red. And here is more about the project. So tell us yourself about how you come to find this project, Ben, and what you're going to be doing to it.
The project was found because it's local to us. I actually live in Rushden, and Chris is in Wellingborough. So we stumbled across this building and we arranged a viewing. And as soon as we opened the doors and we were shown in, we just could see the amount of potential in the building. And we kind of drew up in our minds what we wanted to do with it, and took it to the architect, and it actually worked out better than we first thought. So it was really, really good find.
And it's in a good location, isn't it? Lots of local interests as well.
Yeah, brilliant location, especially with Rushden Lakes development that was opened in 2017. We're getting a lot of passing traffic now, and they're sort of coming to Rushden because it's put this whole development thing's put Rushden on the map. So yeah, it's quite exciting that we've got the building in an up-and-coming town.
So let's look at some photos of the property. This is it at the start, isn't it, I believe?
Yes, this is it as you can see it now. Not much is going to change on the outside. We've got a couple of new doors and windows to go in, but because it's in a conservation area, we've got to be very sympathetic to match everything in with the existing.
And as we said earlier, before we started financing on this project, you had already converted some of the building. You started to strip it out. Tell us a little bit more about what you have done so far and where you're now up to.
Okay, so these pictures here you can see on the left is the front elevation where plot one's going to be, which was on the previous photo, which is a stone face. And we're managing to retain the stone internally as well. So currently we've got all of the first fix stud work up, all of the first fix electrics and first fix plumbing in, and we're closing up walls. And we've had 3 kitchens skimmed, one in plot 7, one in plot 2, and one in plot 3. So it's starting to take its shape, and they're looking like flats, so which is very exciting.
So let's take a look then at the floor plans. Let's start off with the ground floor. On the left, we've got the existing. On the right, we've got the proposed ground floor. Talk us through what you're doing.
Okay, so we have had to remove the well, which you can see in the existing ground floor plan behind the main entrance. It's that kind of little round and then rectangle off the 2 sides. So that's all filled in now. There's going to be a spiral staircase there. It's a beautiful entrance as you come in. As I said before, we're retaining all the stone. So that's a lovely feature. And then if you come in from the proposed, to get into flats 2 and 4, you'll come in through the communal area. We've had to do a little bit of cut and carve there with the stonework, with new doors and some new windows. But yeah, it gives you a nice sort of view of the layout as well. They look small on there, but they're actually surprisingly big when you're in there. It's a little bit of a TARDIS.
And when we then move up onto the first floor, that then you can see where the spiral staircase then comes up for apartment 1 or plot 1. And that then goes up into the bedroom space.
It does. And also, you can't really see it on here, but in plot 7, which is a first floor 2-bedroom flat, we've managed to retain all of the oak beams, all the king trusses. So it's got a vaulted ceiling, and having all the exposed timbers, it just gives it that extra wow factor. It's very nice.
Let's look at the elevations. So talk us through here then. You say part of it is not changing, but talk us through the bits that will be slightly different.
Okay, so if you look at the top left, you'll see the porch front entrance, and to the right of that on the proposed, you'll see a new door, that's the bin store. And then as we go across again, one in from the right, there's a new door, which is going to be for flat 3. And then on the rear of the property, it currently shows 4 high-level windows. Now we've sort of bricked that top area up, and we've brought the windows down. So the windows, as you're stood in the flat, are kind of at a normal height, really, rather than above head height.
The independent monitoring surveyor has recently been out to see the site, Ben. Here's the comments from the 8th of June. What did they find?
They wanted to see all the structural parts that we altered, such as door openings, They were looking at thermal upgradings where we're having to line walls with thermal plasterboard, and a general walk around. He was quite pleased with what he was seeing.
And so the summary then, all those external openings, they've been formed within front and rear elevation. You talked us through a little bit earlier. The roof lights have been put into the rear section of that roof. On the first floor, you've built the unit 1 and the roof truss reinforcement's been done. And then, of course, the internal partitioning you've progressed with. Floorboarding's been reinstated above the completed internal drainage. And you've progressed well with the first fixed electrical and plumbing to the ground floor as well. Here are photos taken by the independent monitoring surveyor, and the new openings and re-elevation they're shown. That's on the first floor. I think there we can start to see those beams you were talking about.
Yeah, that's it. So the steel that you can see on the right hand side photo, that's actually got to be removed, and we've got to replace that with a new steel from the structural engineer. But yeah, that just gives you a bit of an indication of some of the oak that we've managed to retain. But it's actually in plot 7 that we haven't got photos of at the minute, I don't believe, or you haven't on this picture, which give a massive wow factor.
Here are some more photos. This is the partitioning, the first fix on the ground floor, and the acoustic ceiling as well.
So the acoustic ceiling is actually a void between the underside of the joist of the first floor. So we've got a void for services, and then we put an acoustic ceiling as a finished ceiling to each flat on the ground floor.
So it's all nicely taking shape. Let's look at some case studies here. And the one we've got is of the Baptist church that you've done. Tell us more about this project.
So this project I did on behalf of Chris as his builder, and he was my client. It was a Baptist chapel. It had been stood derelict for a number of years, and it was in need of a massive restoration. So we took hold of it, and we put 4 separate houses within that one building with new joinery, new electrics, new plumbing, new drainage, all new finishes, bathrooms, kitchens, and everything like that. And that took us, we did 2 loft conversions as well in the 2 centre dwellings, and that took us 6 months all in all. It's quite a big job.
I look at the photos on the right hand side there. That's the sort of during and after. And again, that's a good looking building, isn't it? Beautiful windows.
Yeah, stunning. All the stone buildings always have so much character and charm about them.
Returning to this project then at Hamblin House, let's have an overview of the financials and this proposed loan. So this is the second phase of a 2-phase raise facility of £425,000. This second phase is for £195,000 with the interest rolled up and paid at the exit. RICS have verified the current market value at the start to be £300,000. The first phase was gross £230,000 with the initial gross day 1 drawdown of £180,000. So that meant that the initial loan to value was 60%. The amount excluding the interest based on the gross development value is 44%. And when you include the rolled up interest, it becomes 46%. The maximum loan period was for 12 months. It's 11 months, including this second phase, and this loan is targeted to start on the 16th of June 2020. Remember that the exit strategy is to refinance onto a longer term loan, and investors in this project will be receiving 8% per annum interest. It's already secured with a first charge security against the property. So thanks then for explaining this project to us, Ben. The next steps are to make sure that you understand the loan, carry out your own due diligence and decide how much you would like to lend. Visit CrowdProperty.com to pledge on launch. The people successfully bidding will have the necessary anti-money laundering checks carried out, and then you'll be invited to send your funds to your very own online e-wallet when it's called for, and you'll start earning interest on completion of the loan agreement. So this is the second phase of £195,000 where we're looking to raise that for 11 months, paying 8% per annum equivalent, and that's going to be paid at the end of this project. This is for Hamblin House, Rushden in Northamptonshire, NN10 0RU. Thank you for watching this CrowdProperty.com webinar. We look forward to you joining us again soon here at CrowdProperty.com for more funding opportunities in the not too distant future.